everyone, welcome back. It's Moa, aka Swedish Whiskey Girl, and today we're having a little look at Balblair 25. Balblair is a distillery located in the Highlands here in Scotland, and it went through rebranding last year in 2019, and before that they were one of the few distilleries that actually had vintages of their bottles. And I know a lot of people kind of miss the vintages, but I kind of like the new bottle design. And we actually managed to try the different expressions next to each other, which was really fun to see. And if I remember correctly, it was actually the 15? Was it the 15 or was it the 12? The 12 was quite light and fruity, which was really nice, but I think it was the 15 that was a lot of people's favourites, which is good to see. Another thing with this one that I kinda want to point out, I generally don't really discuss a lot of price when it comes to whiskey, because something that is affordable to someone maybe is too expensive for someone else. So it all depends on what situation you have, and of course how much you're willing to pay for a whiskey and what flavours you're looking for, etc. So it's up to you. But what I want to say about this one is that it's a 25-year-old that sits at almost £500, which is a little bit surprising to me. It is quite a lot. But of course with pricing, it can be a lot of different factors behind it. Maybe they're just trying to position it as quite a premium or luxury expression. But yeah, it's one that is quite good to know, at least if you're looking for it. But I mean, if that's no money at all to you, then maybe go ahead. But we are gonna try it, of course. So the whiskey sits at 46% ABV, and it is, like I said, a 25-year-old. It's been matured in ex-bourbon casks and then finished in Spanish sherry casks. So yeah, let's start by having a look on the nose. There's definitely a sherry that comes out straight away. It's like a citrusy sherry almost. But quite sweet, so it's almost like a sweet citrus. Maybe like something like a blood, can't speak. A blood orange. Because it has this kind of fresh, citrusy vibe, but it's quite sweet and it's quite, like it has a bit of a zestiness to it. A little bit of a kind of floral perfume. Like something summery, like maybe like lavender, that kind of, with a touch of sweetness. Because the floral note also feels a bit sweet. On the nose, it feels quite light and quite like elegant and light, I'd probably say. But let's have a little taste, Sláinte. Almost quite a golden in a way on the palate. On the finish there's a slight bitterness that also feels a bit zesty. So it feels like a citrus pith bitterness. But it's not overly bitter, it's just a touch of like a little bitterness that just kind of enhances the other flavours. Feels very kind of well rounded. Like no sharp things coming out anywhere. Really nice flavours. Has an oakiness there. It's quite sweet, but not in a sticky way. And it does have like an elegant sherry note. It's not overly sherried at all. It just has like a little touch in kind of the edges. I'd probably say it's quite blood orangey on the palate as well. But with a different texture. It's not this super juicy, what's it called? Like when you bite into an orange, you definitely get this kind of juicy burst because it's quite watery. This one is still making my mouth water a lot, but it's not that a super fresh fruitiness. It almost reminds me more of like tobacco or like an old library and oak. Like it's a bit more dignified, I guess. It's still lovely flavors. What I really like about it, it's that its flavors are quite soft and quite elegant. They're not a punch in the face, but they're also not boring. They're very intriguing, I'd say. It's like when you find a good book in a really old library and it kind of just draws you in. It's almost like, because I'm a big fan of shopping vintage, like finds and stuff like that. And I was once in Gothenburg seeing my friend, and I went into this second-hand shop and I found a book for £80 about horses, but it was from 111 years ago, and it was the most beautiful book I've ever seen. So I just had to buy it for £80. So yeah, I have a book about horses for £80 that I haven't read, but it's stunning. And that's almost like the way that book drew me in, is the way I think these aromas kind of draws you in. I mean, it is out of my budget to spend £500 on a whiskey. And you could probably find an equal level of like lovely flavours elsewhere, but I mean, if you have that kind of money, I do think it's a nice whiskey. A little bit honey-esque, and the oakiness and the tannins and the spices are like just subtly, like almost like tapping your tongue, only to kind of mellow out and disappear. It's also one of those whiskies that almost feel a bit fairy tale-esque to me. But I do think, I'm annoyed that I don't have the 15 to compare with, but with the 15, I felt like from memory it just felt more alive and vibrant. So if you like the flavours of Balblair, I definitely recommend trying that one. And from memory, I think the 12 was a bit more green and the 15 was more like this, but younger. But still lovely in its flavours. I would love to hear, of course, if you've tried the Balblair range. Have you tried the 12? Have you tried the 15? Have you tried the 18 perhaps, or the 25? Please let me know which one is your favourite, and if you agree with my tasting notes for the 25 if you've tried it. And of course, if you like what I'm doing here on YouTube and my other social channels, I'd be absolutely over the moon if you consider using my affiliate links the next time you're shopping with either Master Malt, the Whisky Exchange, or the Scotch Malt Whisky Society. All that information is of course in the description here below, as well as links to my website, my Patreon, my Instagram, and my Teespring shop if you're looking for that. As always, a massive thank you to my wonderful supporters on Patreon. Thank you so much for wanting to continue to support me on my whisky journey. I hope you've all had an absolutely wonderful day. Sláinte Skål.